It sure is ticking. Is it going? Hi, this is Brother Jackie, Brother Steve at wildernessmountainministry.org. We're here tonight to discuss a serious situation that's occurring in this world today concerning Jacob's troubles that is near. We're going to be reading some scriptures and talking about when is the time of Jacob's troubles and their captivity, when they go into captivity once more, referring to another Holocaust brewing. You can see that with the Muslim Brotherhood, with Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and all of this leading up to Ezekiel chapter 38 concerning the war with Gog and Magog. You can bet with the warning from North Korea, or the threat of World War III, that it's not far off. President Putin said himself during the threat with North Korea that he gave it away that when the U.S. strikes Iran, it will be World War III. So we believe that this is when all the nations will turn against Israel. And it's closer than what you're thinking.
Amen.
So we want to do our best to try to expound on that and read some scriptures. So we want to go to, first I want to play you something. This is Brother Jackie, Brother Steve at wildernessmountainministry.org. We are here to help feed Israel. We raise wheat like Joseph. We have raised thousands of bushels. We are now in the process of meeting with Jewish people who are coming from Israel the end of April to partnership with Wilderness Mountain Ministry to have a fundraiser sometime around the end of May or June, so that we can raise the funds to ship the wheat and to be able to feed the people, the immigrants who make it back, are the Jews, to their nation, to their homeland, making Aliyah that we call the final Exodus. And we will read about that. And a lot of these scriptures are going to tell you, confirm what we're talking about in the time of Jacob's captivity. The drought is the reason, and the famine we're raising this wheat. And we need your help. I'm going to send out invitations to the people that we know, so that they can contact the people that they know. The Lord said, I will bless those that bless Israel. And so we want to reach out to the rabbis, the Jewish people, to the Christians. It's time to lay aside our differences and get serious. And so that we can help preserve a remnant out of what I believe is the tribes, the 12 tribes of Israel, soon to come together during Jacob's troubles. It's a time of restoration of the kingdom restored back to Israel. It is a time when they will, God will one more time pour His Spirit out upon Jacob, the house of Jacob, Romans chapter 11, to graft them back in again, to seal them out of every tribe, Also, the woman flees into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared for 1,260 days. And so, we're going to read some scriptures here. After I play this song, it would be a good opening for Wilderness Mountain Ministry. If you would like to help us, or if you know anyone that would like to get involved, let me say a little bit more here. We will be having a fundraiser, if not in Walterboro or near the Ruffin area, maybe Charleston, South Carolina. And we will be speaking. I will be the hosting, Brother Steve and I, with the Jewish partners from Israel, the rabbis, the Christians who live in Israel, some for 30 years, who is also going to help us be able to get that wheat there and feed Jacob and or the poor and the needy, or the immigrants that just made it back with their clothes on their backs. We have just been informed of this, that many Ethiopian Jews and many different Jews have made Aliyah with just the clothes on their backs. And how can we say no to God's people, the apple of his eye? I believe that we Gentiles have received mercy out of them, as the house of Judah and other tribes. I believe that we do boast not against the branches because of the root. And we know that God is going to save a remnant and keep them alive and preserve them until the day of his return to the Mount of Olives. So we want to ask you to pray what God would have you to do for this ministry, and you are invited. Just call Brother Jackie 843-599-9881, or call my brother here, Brother Steve, at 715-567-0808. And you can write me at Brother Jackie at wildernessmountainministry.org, and you can there's a donation, a PayPal button there on our website homepage. You can see what we do. You're dealing with prophecy, the more sure word, the testimony of Jesus Christ, the spirit of prophecy. You can see Daniel's timeline. You can see where we are. We talk about the blood moons, the sign of the Lord's coming, Yeshua's coming. You'll see the wheat that we're raising. You'll be able to order CDs. You'll be able to get DVDs of the Wheat Project. And you too can be blessed. And you can help us work together and lay aside our differences for the greatest cause of all. And so we will be having this fundraiser. We will have musicians and singers, and I'm sure it may last a half a day, may last most of the day. And so what we will break for lunch, have a luncheon. And so all we ask you to do is just get in touch with us and help us, because it's going to cost us quite a bit of money to set this up to help the Jewish people from Israel, the immigrants. So I have been asked, so all I can do is ask you for your help. Will you help me? Because I have been put on the line by the state of Israel. And so to ask you to come to the fundraiser. I have already called and have written Jewish doctors, lawyers, Christians, Jews, and they said that they would come to this fundraiser. Just showing up will show that you care. But we hope that you tell the Jews that you know in America, uh, and your friends, the Christians, about this fundraiser, because it's going to make a difference in saving lives. Help us get the wheat that we raised for the last several years in Wisconsin to Israel as partners with Israel to feed the tribes or God's people, Israel, during what we believe is called the time of Jacob's troubles. So let me play you a song of what's coming. Hope you like it, and we'll come right back and we will read some scriptures. Here we go. I'll not hide my face any longer. I will bring again the captivity of Jacob, and I'll have mercy. Hope you like it.
על בית ישראל נאום עד השם and I will set my glory among the nations, and they will see my judgments that I've done, and the nations will see my hand that I have laid on them. So my people will know their God from that day on, and then I'll not hide my face. I'll not hide my face any longer, for I poured out my spirit on the house of Israel. I poured out my spirit on my people. They'll know that Israel was captive for all their sins. I hid my face and gave them in the hand of their enemies. Now I will bring again the captivity of Jacob, and I'll have mercy and be jealous for my holy name. And then I'll not hide my face. I'll not hide my face any longer, for I've poured out my spirit on the house of Israel. I've poured out my spirit on my people. I'll not hide my face. I'll not hide my face any longer, for I've poured out my spirit on the house of Israel. I've poured out my spirit on my people.
All right, Brother Steve. I think we should tell them the news and the biblical prophecy and read some scriptures about Jacob's troubles. I would like for you to speak a moment about what this has to do with Russia, China, and New Eurasia. What Jacob's troubles, what this has to do with Jacob's troubles. Can you hit on that?
Well, God has always used the heathen nation to bring about his judgments against his people. And he is going to use Russia. He is going to use China. It's mentioned in scriptures what he's going to do. He's going to come down from the north, and they're going to overrun Israel. And we know that this Eurasian system that Russia and China are endeavoring to set up is going to be a digital system, either a card or a mark or a chip, where they are going to be able to control commerce throughout the entire world. And they're going to depose the United States dollar as the world reserve currency, and they're going to bring about this Eurasian system to enslave the whole world under it. And that is how they're going to get control.
And Steve, let me ask you something, brother. How is this going to affect? It will not only affect the nations in Europe or America. We believe it. I believe it'll also affect the nation of Israel.
Oh yes, most definitely. Because you are not going to be able to buy or sell without participating in this system that they are designing right now. Because they're going to implode. They're going to make all these other systems fail. So that the things that we are used to will be non-functional. They will not be able to bring about trade or commerce with any of their neighbors unless they participate in that system. And that also holds true for their internal system, because the shekel will be non-existent anymore, as the US dollar will be non-existent anymore. So you will have to take a mark to participate in this system. And the Bible is very specific about the end result. If you participate in this system, you have condemned yourself to hell, because you're going to take that mark to buy or sell or trade.
And as you know here, God's people cannot take that mark.
That's right.
Including, the grafted in Gentiles or, the grafted in Jewish people out of the tribes.
Amen.
Of these 144,000. How that will fit into the time of Jacob's troubles. Like I said, you can see the fulfillment of Ezekiel chapter 38, don't you think, coming into play?
Yes.
With Russia calling for a new Eurasia, China, and with North Korea, Iran, and the threat of a nuclear war, tells you that it's not far off.
No.
And then we believe that the scriptures indicate, indicate when, what, and when this time is going to be. There's several scriptures in the Old Testament and the New Testament that gives it credibility. And we want to hit on some of those. The Lord said, now, what I believe now, there's going to be another Holocaust. And where they make war with the saints and God's people, including the Jews.
Amen.
Christians and the Jews, the true Christians and the Jews. Now, I'm not talking about the apostate church world. I'm talking about God's people.
Yes.
Predestinated before they were even born. Like Jacob and Esau were predestinated. And so what we want to do, we're going to compare this to beat the Holocaust, because we know that when the Jews are back to in their homeland, that they're going to have to flee too there. That explains the new Eurasia, the new electric or identification system, to where they can't buy or sell.
Right.
And if they can't buy or sell, they will have to have somebody's help to feed them. And they will have to, I guess that's what that means in Revelation chapter 12, where the woman has to flee into the wilderness.
Yes.
Where she has a place prepared of God. Did you notice that? Now, God's not going to blink that into existence. He's going to have His people and Christians and churches and Jewish people to bring this about.
Right.
because it's called the final Exodus. And we know that they're looking for their Messiah. Next year,
Mm-hmm.
maybe next year. So we're getting real close. It would to the Temple Mount worship. It's very near
Yes.
to the beginning. To reveal the daily sacrifices on the Temple Mount. So of the three world religions, and so we believe this is when that's going to trigger Jacob's troubles when Israel's going to be betrayed,
Mm-hmm.
be set up again by all the nations.
Yeah.
The reason I believe that is because of the anti-Semitism on the rise.
Mm-hmm.
All the bombings. What do you think, Steve, about all these bombings?
Well, they claim that Al Qaeda from Gaza was the ones that claimed responsibility for these Boston bombings, and they boasted that they were the ones that pulled it off. And of course, we know that these are also the enemies of Israel.
Yes, and all the nations of where God's got his people scattered.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that he is dealing with their hearts to come out of the system and try to live as simple or total self-sufficient as you know how. You can do that by buying a little time. God has given us a little time with the warning of North Korea because they mean business. They are coming sooner or later. The Bible predicts that in 1 hour this nation will be no more. After that, 42 months. Yeah. They are coming, and no doubt about it. Which tells us, though, well, people would ask you, well, how are you going to survive? Well, I'm going to trust who?
Trust God.
Yeshua. He's our hiding place. Yeah. He's our refuge. He will not destroy one righteous with the wicked. So, even in war, even in Sodom, when he drug Lot out, he did not destroy Lot, even though he destroyed the major city of Sodom. And he's going to destroy the major cities again. So, if I was you, I would be listening to North Korea. I wouldn't turn them off, or China,
or discount them
because
out.
they're getting their orders from the China and Russia.
Right.
As Dmitry Duduman said, the Russian president, he hugged the Chinese president. They had a handshake, and they said, we're sure that North Korea will be with us also, Cuba and others, when you free the Taiwanese from the Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, China to take back Taiwan.
Yeah.
And this seems to be about what this is all over with Russia and Iran and Syria. That it seems to be their bands.
Mm-hmm.
And you mess with them, you mess with Russia.
Yeah.
And it'll cause God to put a hook in their mouth and pull them down. When we strike Iran, Damascus goes. The U.S. will become a third world what?
Nation.
Yes. And that's when it'll bring about the mark. Yeah. They ain't a doubt in my mind that we're somewhere around a year or so from that, because of the new Pope, Francis, because of them discussing the opening of the Temple Mount.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anything about that, Steve? You have something?
Well, they said that they were going to do this during very troublous times, so it doesn't surprise me that even with all the things that we're seeing on the horizon, that it's about to be brought about, because that's just the way the scriptures read.
You know, I had a prophecy April the 7th, because I was concerned. Is this the time, as the North Korean leader, Kim Jong, whatever his name is?
Kim Jong-un?
Yeah, and I was concerned about my family, my wife, my lovely wife, 25 years, and brothers and sisters. It strikes terror on your heart just about. Mm-hmm. For someone to just come out and tell you, we're gonna varnish you from off the face of the earth, yeah. America. And they mean it, and they're coming to take a spoil. And I mean a spoil of not only the gold and the silver and the cattle, like it says in Ezekiel, from all the young lions, which America is one of the young lions. Mm-hmm. She is mentioned in the Bible as one of the young lions. And so I just believe that, we're about to enter into some times like never before, troubles, Jacob's troubles. And what I'm saying here is I believe that God raises up the heathen.
Yeah.
When a nation has given up on God, they turn their backs on God and they have homosexuality and all of this what, Steve?
Well, they got this entire perverted religious philosophy.
Otherwise, our nation has been invaded by aliens or demonic forces that have taken completely over.
Yeah.
We're a mingled people. The Bible talks about a nation with a mingled people being destroyed. We're already divided against ourselves.
Yeah.
More than we've ever been. This nation, God says a nation divided against itself cannot what?
Stand.
But be brought down. It cannot stand. And so this is a serious situation of your family and your loved ones, of getting them out of the system in time, because it's going to become the Babylon of the mystery Babylon. The last 42 months is that. It's not just America. It's a worldwide economic system, cashless, with a mark, that is functioning or ruled over by the mother of harlots. Revelation chapter 17, the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, and under the great red dragon that comes down in the midst of the week to attack or invade the woman with the sun and the moon, clothed in 12 stars, represents the 12 tribes, beginning the final 42 months. Now, let's see if we can. What I wanted to say is, God said, no, don't worry about it, don't fret over it. You love your wife dearly, you love your people, friends, and my God, it has really struck terror in the hearts of the American people.
Amen.
What it is, that nobody fears us anymore. And why is that, Steve?
Because they know we're not a righteous nation anymore.
Yeah, they know what homosexuality stands for. They know what lawlessness stands for. They're laughing at us. They know. Even Iran. How can they stand back and threaten us? If they thought we were a righteous nation, they would. There's no way they could tear down a righteous nation. Didn't God say righteousness exalts a nation?
Amen.